into Hillary Clinton's emails.
Another October surprise, one that could potentially change the election.
It involves the disgraced sexting former Congressman Anthony Weiner.
The most inconsequential person in American politics has managed to roll a bomb onto the tracks of the presidential campaign.
If you shop on Amazon, you should use WikiBuddy.
Will prevail.
It is pretty strange to put something like that out with such little information.
For my meal kit delivery, I chose the vegetarian box, and the meals that I received were the salsa verde enchiladas, harissa sweet potato pocket.
Gentlemen, we're 2 weeks out. And I think it's fair to say that there's a broad consensus now among Democrats, Republicans, that Hillary Clinton's going to be the next president of the United States.
Barring some really catastrophic thing. But anything could happen.
We started this series talking about how campaigning for president is the hardest thing you could ever do. Campaign both tests your character and reveals your character, right? Physically, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically.
What David Axelrod said. Presidential campaigns are MRIs of the soul.
Yeah. There are really three people who have the most interesting perspective on this. The president, the first lady, and the vice president of the United States. All of them who are really, really active right now. And they're out on the trail almost every day and trying to get Clinton elected.
But you know, Michelle Obama is like Barbara Streisand. She's coming out and doing some mega concert events. Biden is like a Journey cover band. He's out there day after day, not just for Hillary Clinton, but for Democrats up and down the ballot. And he will play small venues, medium venues, large venues. He is tireless.
Here's a guy who ran for president in 1988, was hounded out of the race over plagiarism scandals. 20 years later, and managed on the first day of his campaign to say something that essentially ended his campaign on the day it started.
The first mainstream African American who was articulate and clean.
And then somehow ends up, after all that, vice president of the United States.
Talk about what it takes. There's not a person in this campaign of any age who is his equal. If I could have just one wish, that wish would be 30 minutes about Joe Biden. The episode is called His Word is a Biden.
I've got somebody who I think will go down as one of the finest vice presidents in history. I'm blessed to have him as a friend, as well as a colleague, whose faith has been tested time and time again.
Just a week before Christmas, 1972, the wife of newly elected Senator Joe Biden and their baby daughter were killed.
He took the oath of office at the bedside of his two surviving sons.
So help you God.
I do.
There's a conflict between my being a good father and being a good senator, which I hope will not occur. We can always get another senator, but they can't get another father.
Joe Biden has known genuine tragedy and yet found plenty of joy.
Joe Biden is that rare mix. For decades, he's brought change to Washington, but Washington hasn't changed him.
It's Monday morning at 5 a.m. and Mark and I are here, groggy.
So begins an endless day, or a day and a half with Joe Biden.
Today's already been endless since it's not even started. We're gonna hop on Air Force 2 for a long but extremely fun day with Joe Biden.
So we're in Cleveland.
Jake, you've never been in a presidential or vice presidential motorcade in your life, is that correct?
Not really.
Yeah. There are more bazookas in this motorcade. Also, no nuclear football with Trump.
They're thinking of a nuclear softball. They want a nuclear football.
We got this first event here today where Biden's doing an event at the Cleveland Clinic to talk about one of the new PAC
better day, or a better son. It made you want to be a better person.
The day before Beau Biden's funeral, the Vice President stood for more than 6 hours receiving people in the church. And I don't think I've ever seen a politician engage in an act of such physical and emotional stamina. It was just a miraculous and heartbreaking display of somebody standing strong for himself and for his family in the memory of his son.
How many times you get a patient look at you lying on a bed, say, "Doc, can you give me just 2 more weeks?" You're asking for 1 more moment, and it matters.
A promise made in the dark, lit by a single flame.
Moment counts.
A desperate prayer for guidance, for direction, for a sign.
Clinton is
And in
heading into the
return,
final stretch of the
a vow
election
to
race
one day
with a
build
comfortable
a shrine in the name of
double-digit
all
lead.
who
ABC News
are
tracking poll
hopeless.
shows Hillary Clinton at 50%.
This was the beginning,
12 points up on Trump at
quiet
38.
and solemn. But soon, this sacred vow would become a mission.
Hello, Toledo, and
As the light from that single candle grew into a torch of promise, passed through time and generations to millions around the
What
world.
can you say about Donald Trump? Nobody's disqualified himself so much. Can you imagine any president
As that
who's
vision
ever
took
lived
form,
getting
it
up
would
at
be given a
3:30 in the
name
morning
and a purpose, and a statue would be raised as a proud symbol of that hope, one that would stand watch over desperate families, protecting and guiding them in their darkest hour.
that way? No. And
This is where the
sisters
work
out
would be
there
done,
watching the game?
forever changing the fates of children diagnosed with cancer and other life-threatening diseases. This is where brilliant minds would gather, perched at the leading edge of science, as they ventured into the darkness, seeking better ways to understand, treat, and defeat the diseases that took children's lives.
Press always asks me,
Hundreds of supporters would grow into thousands, then millions,
behind the gym.
fueling the work required to raise survival rates and keep families whole. What was once a death sentence for children would ultimately become survivable, as word of this remarkable place spread around the globe.
That comment other than I want to kick Donald Trump's ass?
Momentum continued to build, and people from all walks of life would lend their support, united by the singular vision that no child should die in the dawn of
So why has
life.
that remark had such resonance?
Well, I think that most middle-class, working-class people resent more than anything else is abuse of power. Nobody
This is
likes a
St.
bully.
Jude Children's
I'm sorry, I still think
Research
it has resonance
Hospital.
because people said you think you
Since 1962, when St. Jude first opened its doors, we have stayed true to the promise that no family would ever receive a bill from St. Jude, not for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because all a family should worry about is helping their child
to do
live.
this thing,
And St. Jude
and to
freely
govern?
shares its
What makes somebody
groundbreaking
get up one
discoveries,
morning and
so
say,
that
"You know,
every child saved at St. Jude means that
I mean, when
doctors
you
and
think about
scientists
it, it is
can
the
use
most
that knowledge to
outrageous
save
thing
thousands
that
more
anyone could
children
think about.
around the
I can
world.
govern the free world.
It's
man.
pretty
I can
amazing when you
govern
consider that 7
the
years
free
ago,
world.
we didn't
I
have the
think
treatments we have
most
now.
important thing it
We
takes
cure
is
80%
that
of children with
actually
cancer.
really
If you think
know
about
what
that,
you
when you
wanna
go back
do,
50 years, we were
and
curing
you
20 to
believe you can
30%.
do it.
This is the miracle story
We
of
are
modern medicine.
only a little more than
Our
halfway
mission
through
continues
our
to
very
unite
long
people
day
from
with
all
Joe
walks
Biden
of
here in
life
the Buckeye
in a
State.
common goal,
Ultimate
to
battleground
support
state
the
of Ohio
research
has been
and the patient care
iconic.
necessary
You don't win the
to at
state,
last
you don't get to be
vanquish the
president in
pediatric
the post-war
cancers
era.
that take our children from us.
People in more than 30 states
Donors are
already
important
voting.
to us
So
because
far,
you
nearly
get the
5
feeling that
million
you have a
ballots
team
have been
behind
cast.
you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it,
There's a bunch of kids in that office who are not from Ohio. They've come from around the country because this is
My
like supposed to be
father,
the place
Danny
where it all
Thomas,
happens.
once said, "Those who support the
Going to
good
these field
are
offices,
as those
Biden
who
brings
do
such
the good."
enthusiasm and such
And these very
infectiousness
words have
and
been
such kind of
embraced
like
by
passion to
millions
try to
for
rally
more than
people.
half a century. Thank you for supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and for carrying forward the light of that first
Across the
candle.
country,
With your help, we will continue to find cures and save more children
We're feeling
here
really
and
good about
around
it.
the